try to watch to the end of the video, please, guys. The algorithm, we're trying to go. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Just Lee, and I'm so happy to have you guys back. Guys, when I say I'm going through a lot, I'm going through a lot. So first of all, this is what happened to me last week. I don't know if you can see that, but my phone dropped and my screen cracked, and that's why I actually haven't been able to release the video that I promised. Because you know what, I'm a starting off YouTuber, and my channel is still very small, so I don't want to compromise on the quality of what I put out more than I already have. And so I just decided, let me just make a plan so that I can put out some content and interact with you guys, and just to let you guys know what's going on. So without me going on for too long, guys, I am back. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for watching the previous videos. If you haven't already watched the videos, please do catch up. I've got 2 or 3 videos up, and you can catch up with who I am and the stuff that we talk about on the channel. And if you are new to the family, please don't forget to press the subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to comment in the comment section and share. That really puts us out, because we are trying to grow the channel together, right? And for my returning subscribers, what's up, fam? What's up, fam? So anyway, guys, I'm back, and I actually wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind for a while now. I think I mentioned it in the video that we did on Valentine's Day, but I actually wanted to talk to you guys about Black families and finances. And I think it's a very, very contentious subject, and sometimes we avoid it and just do what so sometimes we just avoid it and do what's been done, because that's just what's been done and what's expected. But I feel like we're at a point now, and we are a generation that needs to be having very serious conversations about where we want to direct the Black economy and where we want to see Black families, right? So for me, growing into the woman that I'm becoming, one of the most important things for me is building a legacy, not only for myself, not only for my family, but also for the family that I'm going to marry into. So ultimately, I'm building a legacy for my grandkids, right? I don't want to be a forgettable grandmother. I want my grandkids to be very successful, and when they speak of their success, speak about how their grandmother and their grandfather really paved the way for them to be where they are. That's the type of legacy that I want to establish for myself and for my family. And I've gotten to realize that I need to have very, very difficult conversations, not only with myself, but with my romantic partner and also my family, right? And the biggest and most contentious issue in any relationship, really, or one of the most actually, will always be finances. And for me, we can have a legacy where we disrupt the pathology of like generational curses in terms of the family unit, but I don't think we speak enough about breaking the pathology of generational curses when it comes to finances in specific. Because one thing we don't realize as people, especially as Black people, is that we do inherit, as much as you inherit your mother's personality and your father's eyes, you also inherit the type of habits financially that your parents had. And if you're aware of it, you're able to change it. As with anything, like if you grew up in an abusive household, you're most likely going to go into the same pathology, because you normalize it and you gravitate towards what is familiar. But with finances as well, if you grew up in a family that was reckless with their money, if you grew up in a family that was a family that's big on saving, if you grew up in a family that's big on spending or shopping, you tend to become the exact same person in terms of your financial behaviors. And that's why it's also important when you go into a marriage or a long-term partnership or relationship that you speak about the type of financial person that you are? What is your financial love language? And I think for today, I'm not going to speak specifically about financial love languages and the relationship part of it. What I want to concentrate on is the idea of black tax and why I am completely against it. Now, a lot of people can say that like nobody likes black tax, but we have to do it. I am completely against it. It's not to say that I don't support my family where I can. It's not that I do not hope that my family can support me where they can, but it's to say I support in as far as it doesn't affect my own financial goals and the legacy that I'm trying to build financially for my family. So for me, economic, however which way you pronounce it, economic legacies are very important for me. And lucky for me, I got into a relationship with a man who understands the fundamentals of generational wealth. Not because he comes from it, but because he works in an industry where he has to understand the fundamentals of generational wealth and also works with people who have generational wealth. So for me, he takes care of the fundamentals because I don't have the economic knowledge to know how to build wealth. I don't come from wealth. All I know is I want to build wealth, right? So I got into a relationship with a partner who I later realized would be able to be a very valuable voice in the building of our financial legacy. And we also had to sit down. I mean, when we moved in together, we had to sit down as we were planning our budgets and, who pays for what, how, and when. We also needed to account for how much money we send back home. Because ultimately, that is money that is coming out of our savings. That is money that is coming out of the household. And there's a lot that we still want to do, a lot that we still want to achieve. And we also had to have the very serious conversation, at least from my side, of how those 1,000 rands, 2,000, 3,000 rands that come out of our accounts every month that go back home to help or assist in some or other way are affecting us reaching our financial goals. So this is what I think of black tax, guys, and this is my opinion, and this is why I'm so against black tax. Black tax is like taking 10 steps back in terms of building generational wealth and building a generational legacy. Not because you are sending money home, but because you're delaying the building of your own financial stability and financial future, right? So I was on Facebook and on Twitter as well, and someone shared a post where they said a friend of theirs went home after they bought a new car, and the mom was very disappointed, and the mom said, "You're here buying yourself a car, but you didn't take care or build your mother a home." And in my mind, I was thinking, do you know how much it is to renovate a home? As a 20-something-year-old who's just starting out and who's trying to build their wealth and trying to be more secure financially, do you know how far back that sets me? And I think that's a reality that we are growing into as black people. Understandably, our parents sacrifice a lot to take us to school, but I don't think that our parents have or are in the position to expect a certain type of return on investment in terms of taking us to school. If you come from a family that was really without, right? If you come from a family where you guys lived in a one room habitat, for lack of a better word, or dwelling. Yes, that's the word. So if you guys lived in a one room dwelling and you were a family of 5 and your parents managed to take you to school, and they did what they had to do. Your mom sold on the side of the road, they were unemployed, you had to take care of your siblings. I understand then why, if you get your first 20,000 rand, you might take 10,000 rand back home to say, "Mom, please buy building material and build a bigger home." But I, for instance, come from a home where, although it was tough growing up, although I know the pains of not having, I don't come from such a home that my parents live in utter discomfort. And so I don't feel the need for me to go back and build my parents a double-story house where they still live comfortably in a 3-4 bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. Like, mom, if you have an ensuite bathroom, you don't need me to go back and build you anything more, right? So so when it comes to my home, then what's important to me becomes building something sustainable that can help at home without me having to reach too much into my pocket. So if I get my first 20,000 Rand, what I'll do is I'll invest in a business, whatever it is. My family loves to cook. And so that's what I did. I said, guys, this is how much I have. Please put it towards establishing a company where we can all contribute, where we can all cook, and there's some form of income that comes from it that can sustain you guys, right? And that for me was important because I needed to create something sustainable for them so that it does not take away from my own personal financial goals, because I'm 29 this year. I have very little to show for it, right? And I'm not saying it's because I was sending money back home, but I'm saying that that money could have contributed to something much bigger, right? So I actually wanted to speak about how heavy it is, guys, for us to normalize always having to go back and building our parents a house, buying our parents luxury cars, buying our siblings the latest iPhones, or all of that. It's great. You should do it if you are able to, but don't ever do it if it's going to, one, delay your own progress, but secondly, if your parents really do not need it. If it's not a need, there is no need for you to do it. And the thing that when I had the conversation with myself about generational wealth, the thing for me that made the most sense was that spiritually, you said that you wanted to get rid of and break generational curses spiritually. And I embarked on that journey. Socially, educationally, there were generational curses that I wanted to break. And to some extent, I've done that. Financially, there are some generational curses that I want to break. Am I going to be able to do that if I'm also going to go back home and build my parents a house or send money back home, a lot of money at that, for people that perhaps I could have empowered instead of enabled, right? So for me, I was like, and I told you guys at the beginning of the video, I said, the most important thing for me is to have my grandkids say our grandparents really are the reason why we have the foundation that we had to be able to be where we are at this point in time. And so imagine if I now go back and spend a good 10 years of my life taking care of home. And by the time I get to build myself or buy myself a house, it's not a house that I wanted, right? It's not at that level that I had wished for myself. I do not drive the car that I had wished to drive at that age. But now I have children, they have to go to school. They don't go to the schools that I wanted them to go to. They don't go to the universities that I wanted them to go to. They struggle through university. So even their educational journey is a mirror of my own, right? So I have failed as a parent to make their lives easier. But as soon as they get to their point of success, they now need to look back. Instead of looking at their progression and cementing their own generational wealth, they're now looking back and saying, we need to go help mom. Yeah. So it becomes extremely difficult. But that's what I wanted to say is that, guys, in as much as we are trying to break generational curses when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to our relationships, when it comes to our education, I think it's important that we also try to break generational curses when it comes to our financial security. And that starts with having a real conversation with our parents, with our families, about how destabilizing it is to have to go back home and build something that they should have built themselves when it comes to the truth of it. And also bear in mind, I'm not talking about people that have really no need, that have a need for it. I'm speaking specifically about people that want the comfort, but they don't have a need for it. There's no need. If there is no need, build yourself, build your wealth. Black tax is not a responsibility that you inherit. Let's get rid of it. If you concentrate on yourself today and you build the life that you want to build for yourself today, you take away the responsibility and the burden that your children have to take to now build that life for you and be unable to build that life for themselves. So break the cycle is what I'm saying. And breaking the curse of black tax is where we need to start. Have the conversation with your parents. Have the conversation with your siblings. It needs to end somewhere with someone. If you fix the surname, if you got your master's degree, if you now live in the burbs, great, awesome stuff for you. But you're still sending money back home. So guess what? You're not going to get to the levels that you want to get to, or it's going to be really difficult. That's the conversation that I wanted to have with you guys today. Hopefully we can see each other again very soon. So please don't forget to like if you did watch to the end of the video. So I'll see you guys next time. Love and light. Mwah. I'm out.